Hey there, welcome to Sasquatch Sports. This is Caleb McDaniel, and this is David McDaniel, and we're starting a channel to talk to you guys about all kinds of shit. Um, we're going to talk about sports mainly, college sports and professional sports, NBA, NFL. Um, we're going to talk about some politics and news here and there, probably not a ton of that. Maybe a little bit of pop culture. May discuss everything as wide as legalization of marijuana and Second Amendment rights. Start this off by telling you who we root for, so everybody can know what our biases are. Obviously, by looking at us, you can tell that we're Tennessee Vols fans, VFLs, and that's the only college team that we root for. Professional teams, we root for the Green Bay Packers. And AFC, we root for the Kansas City Chiefs, but not if they're playing the Green Bay Packers. And in the NBA, my brother, he roots for the Golden State Warriors. He roots for the Warriors. I root for the Spurs because Greg Popovich is the coach, and they play fundamental basketball and win championships, and it's something I can get behind. And the Eastern Conference, we both root for the Celtics, mainly because we went to a Celtics game one time and had a fantastic time. So, knowing by the look of us here that we're Vols homers, we'll talk real quick about the UT Vols basketball team being number one in the country. Grant Williams, Admiral Schofield, Rick Barnes, and the entire program down there is really kicking ass this year. We've been number one for 2 weeks in a row, and if we beat A&M tomorrow, we'll be number one for 3 weeks in a row. We're real proud of that, and I'll let Caleb share any thoughts he has on the UT Vols basketball team.
Well, I would like the UT Vols basketball team if they were the worst in the country. It just so happens for the last 2 weeks they've been the best, and I think the reason they're the best is similar to the comments I had about the Golden State Warriors. They play team basketball, they pass the basketball, they play defense, and they are fundamentally sound. And so, despite me being a homer, I think that they're the best team in basketball, and we'll probably have to lose a step or two to not be the best team in basketball. And so I'm a fan of theirs not only because they're Tennessee Vols, but because they play good, solid, fundamental basketball.
So everybody heard that, big-time UT Vols homers, Packers, Chiefs, Spurs, Golden State Warriors, Boston Celtics. Everybody got that? Okay. We said we're going to talk about news and pop culture and such. So typically we'll pick some headlines out of Apple News and talk about those and discuss those if they're worth talking about. And today they're not. Today the headlines are Trump declaring national emergency for the wall and a Democratic governor in Virginia being racist. So we don't really consider any of that headlines, so we're not going to talk about that today.
Just point out for clarity's sake that Trump has not declared a national emergency, but that he has said it is very likely.
So there's no headlines in the news that we're going to discuss. We're going to move on to the Super Bowl. And just to let y'all know, my twin brother and myself are both haters of the Patriots, so it's hard to give any unbiased Super Bowl opinions. We don't like Tom Brady, we don't like Bill Belichick, and we do not want to see them win another Super Bowl. Nor do we really want to see the Rams win the Super Bowl. They're not really our favorite team either. That being said, the Super Bowl has to be discussed. So let's talk about betting favorites and where you think you can make your money on the Super Bowl. I think right now the spread's sitting at 2.5. So let's talk about how you're going to try to make some money in the Super Bowl.
Well, it's probably no secret to anybody out there in internet land that knows me that I like a good wager from time to time, and the spread is 2.5. I personally will be taking the Rams at plus 2.5 or plus whatever the spread is right before kickoff, depending on whether it's moved or not. Unfortunately, my analysis is that the Patriots will probably win and probably cover the spread, And so if I was not betting with my heart this weekend, I would be betting the Patriots. However, because I hate the Patriots and very, very, very rarely wager money on the Patriots, I will be betting on the Rams plus whatever the spread is. And so although my advice is to bet the Patriots, I will be betting the Rams.
So here's the deal: we hate the Patriots. If you want to make money, bet on the Patriots. We're rooting for the Rams. The only positive that we found from the Super Bowl and championship weekend, and really the playoffs, because the Packers didn't even make the playoffs, is the fact that no matter what happens, a VFL is going to get a Super Bowl ring. Either Cordarrelle Patterson or John Kelly is going to get a Super Bowl ring this weekend. And if the tables have been turned in NFC and AFC Championship, then Eric Berry and Alvin Kamara could have got a Super Bowl ring. So no matter what would happen to VFL, we got a Super Bowl ring, and that's something we can get behind. You got any thoughts on that?
Go Vols.
Go Vols. VFLs. VOLS.
VOLS.
Go Vols, go. So since the only sentiments we have in the Super Bowl that really make us happy are Go Vols, go, we're going to go ahead and move on to the NBA. We wanted to talk about Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving and the free agency madness that's sure to happen in the next 12 months. But really what I think we ought to talk about is, does it really matter? And can Golden State lose 2 and still be the best team in the league?
You know, we've talked a lot about this privately, and I think we're both of the opinion that Golden State could probably afford to lose 2 of their assets. Maybe that's Boogie and Durant. Maybe that's Boogie and Klay Thompson. Maybe that's Durant and Thompson. Any combination of those 3, 2 of them leave. We're of the opinion that Golden State's the team to beat, and Golden State will be the team to beat until they're beat in the finals. As I talked about earlier, I was a fan of Golden State before Kevin Durant came into the fold, although I was happy about that. They were dominant beforehand. I think they'll continue to be dominant after either Durant or Klay or Boogie leaves. I think they're going to be just fine. They've got a good bench. They're well coached. They're undoubtedly the best team in basketball right now, and I think they'd have to lose at least 3 of their assets to not be the best team in basketball.
So, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, none of that really matters. Golden State's going to kill everybody.
If I'm Steve Kerr, or I'm Klay Thompson, or I'm Steph Curry, I say bring it on. Nobody has had anything for the Golden State Warriors with the exception of LeBron James, who, don't get me started, nobody's had anything for the Golden State Warriors for several years. I think that's going to continue regardless of who they lose. Go Dubs.
Well, we feel like we've talked about everything that is relevant this evening. Real happy that if you guys are watching, we'd love to get some of your feedback. Tell us what you want to hear about. We're probably willing to talk about anything, albeit we like to talk about sports and current events. Once again, I'm David McDaniel of Sasquatch Sports TN. This is my twin brother, Cole McDaniel of Sasquatch Sports TN. And we look forward to speaking to you again.
Go Vols.